What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out the Two Ronnies, Rhyming Slang Sermon, and the Man Who Repeats Things. From what I understand, Rhyming Slang Sermon has something to do with Cockney rhyming slang.
Oh.
This is something that I've only briefly touched on the channel, maybe like, I don't know, it's been a long time, well before Lindsay got on the channel. I don't think you've ever actually seen Cockney rhyming slang, period.
I don't think so. I know it sounds familiar because I know you probably talked about it when you did it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've actually seen anything in depth about it.
It is difficult if you don't come from an area that you experience that on a regular basis.
I think we got a book about it.
Yes, we do. Yes.
Okay, and we've looked at that some.
Yes.
But yeah, it's not something easy to wrap your head around. Apples and pears take the stairs or something.
Yeah. It's difficult, man. It is so difficult. I've played around with it a little bit, and I remember trying to play around with it when I checked out a video on it, and I literally couldn't grasp it.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the things that you literally have to be brought up in to really get it quickly.
Yeah.
And if you're not from an area that does Cockney rhyming slang, it's going to definitely take you a minute to figure it out. Yeah, it's definitely tricky. But if anyone could do Cockney rhyming slang very well, I think it would be the Two Ronnies because, as we've seen, they are masters. They're wordsmiths. That's a great way to put it. But guys, so not 100% sure if that's what this is about, but I think it is.
If it is what it's about, I'm not sure if I'll get it. So we'll see. I might be like, what?
And as for the Man Who Repeats Things, that's kind of what we expect from the Two Ronnies.
Yeah.
It is. It's like wordplay, word humor. I love it.
I'm a word nerd. So.
Yeah. It's not this type of comedy isn't something you see very often these days.
No.
It definitely seems to be a lost art of sorts.
Although I feel like it's probably more popular in British culture than it is in American culture.
I definitely think it is. Victor of St. Cain and Abel Church.
Now, many of you here tonight will know that Cain and Abel and Hampstead Heath are Cockney rhyming slang. Cain and Abel means table, and Hampstead Heath means teeth. We are glad to welcome tonight a large group of Cockney worshippers to Evensong. And it is to them that I wish to address my sermon. I want to tell you a story. A long time ago, in the days of the Israelites, there lived a poor man. He had no trouble and strife. She had run off with a tea leaf some years before, and he now lived with his eldest bricks and mortar, Mary.
All his bricks and mortar.
Being very short of bees and honey, unable to pay the burden on Trent, he was tempted to go forth into the Bristol city and see what he could half-inch. He would say to Mary, his bricks and mortar, I will take a ball of chalk into the town and buy some tobacco for my cherry ripe. And he would put on his almond rocks and his dicky dirt and his rounder houses and set off down the Frog and Toad until he reached the outskirts of the Bristol. And people would stare at him, for his dicky dirt was torn. His howdy-doos were full of holes.
Howdy-do.
And his coat was very Westminster Abbey. He was also somewhat unclean, being too poor to purchase any Cape of Good Hope. His bushel and peck was extremely 230. And people passed by on the other side to avoid the pen and ink. He was truly an ugly man. His north and south drooped, his mince pies were watery, and he had a big red eye, suppose. One day, his bricks and mortar gave him some money, saying, here is a saucepan lid, go and buy food, a loaf of Uncle Fred and a pound of Standardese.
Uncle Fred, I got that one. That was bread, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I haven't got any of the other ones.
This is difficult.
It is very hard to follow.
Because by the time I'm trying to figure out the one he's in, he's on to another one.
I really want like a translation of this after the fact, like to see what they meant.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I wish someone had done that.
But yeah,
we're going to have to play around with this at some point. Yes, I think it'll be really fun.
Yeah, it would be. Ooh, that would be a fun video. I know we're like kind of in the middle here, but like a quiz game between us two where we quiz each other.
Oh my goodness.
What do you think this means? Like use it in a sentence and...
Oh man, that would be tough.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
But do not tarry in the town and bring me back what is left of the money to buy myself some new underwear. I need a new pair of early doors. For my present ones are full of holes, and I am in a continual George raft. But instead of returning with the bees and honey for his bricks and mortars early doors, he made his way to the rub-a-dub for a tumble down the sink and indulged himself freely on the bottle. And he became very Elephant's Trunk and Mozart. And when the landlord of the rub-a-dub called Bird Lime, the man set off back towards his cat and mouse, reeling about all over the Frog and Toad and drunkenly humming a stewed prune.
A stewed prune.
And it came to Khyber Pass that as he staggered along, he saw on the pavement a small brown Richard III.
What does that mean?
Is that like what I think it is?
I have no idea what you're thinking it is.
Oh, I was thinking like poo.
What?
A small brown Richard III.
Why would that be? What?
I'm like thinking of like San Diego or San Francisco. Or is it San Francisco that has all the...
Yeah. All right.
Okay, well, I don't know what else. Small and brown and laying on the pavement.
And he stared at it, lying there at his plates of meat. And he said, "Oh, small brown Richard III, how lucky I did not step on you." And he picked it up. And he put it on top of a wall where no one could step on it. And a rich 4x2-ish merchant who witnessed the deed put his hand into his skyrocket and took out a Lady Godiva and handed it to the man saying, "I saw you pick up that Richard III and remove it from the pavement, and that was a kindly act. Take this Lady Godiva for your froth and bubble." And the man took it and went on his way. And the Richard III flew back to its nest.
It's a bird. It's a bird. Richard III, bird.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now I feel like trashy.
When the man arrived home, his daughter was sitting by the Jeremiah on her favorite Lionel Blair. And she
Chair.
cheered angrily and said, "Once again you come home, Elephant's Trunk and Mozart. You have spent all the money I gave you. Now I cannot have my new pair of early doors. Neither can I have wine, as you do." And the man said, "Fear not, here is a Lady Godiva, which I earned by a kindly act." And the woman was overjoyed and said, "Thank you, father. Now I can have my pair of early doors. Verily, that kindly act has ensured that I have more than enough to cover my bottle and glass."
That was good, guys.
I feel like it would have hit funnier and like been more, resonated more with us if we knew Cockney rhyme.
I thought it was hilarious. But to me, it wasn't about so much what, like the actual meaning of each phrase or each slang. It was more about like the pictures that were in my head, and just the rhyming itself was hilarious.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to be able to understand, the entire sermon here. But, when you really start picturing what the rhyme could be, it starts coming together a little bit at least.
Which it just goes to show how much of a master they are at
wordsmith.
Yeah.
Absolute wordsmith. It's incredible.
I wonder if they were from that region or if it's okay. People who aren't from the area. Where's Cockney rhyming slang?
If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it's outside this area, but I know it's big in a certain London area. If I'm not mistaken, let me know in the comments, guys. It's been a long time since I actually looked at that at all, and it was only one time I briefly touched on it. So I'm definitely not an expert at it by any stretch of the imagination.
I'm just wondering if people outside of that area in the UK or England specifically understand quite a lot of Cockney rhyming slang, or if it's more just a regional thing. And
I think it's definitely more of a regional thing to be used on a regular basis. But my guess is if you're in England, you definitely probably on average know more about it than anyone that's outside of the, in the United States, for example. I would guess like very few people in the United States probably ever even heard of it. You know what I mean? It's definitely one of those things that I had never heard of until here. But it is such, I can tell it's a fun wordplay thing.
Evening.
No, both of them.
Evening. Crowded tonight. Crowded tonight. Unusual, you know that, for a Sunday. Unusual, you know that, for a Sunday. Would you mind not repeating everything I say, please? I'm awfully sorry. Sorry. My name's Arthur Wilkins, by the way. Oh, hello, I'm George Prothero. Hello, I'm George Prothero. You said you were Arthur Wilkins. You said you were Arthur Wilkins. My God, you're doing it again. My God, you're doing it again. Look, please, will you please not interrupt me all the time and repeat everything I say? More repeats with you than the BBC.
And repeat everything else I say.
Anyone who has kids can relate to it.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Or an annoying sibling.
Every kid goes through this stage, it seems like.
Like they just, even without anything prompting it. Like, we're very careful about what Sophia watches, and like, she doesn't have a lot of exposure to outside media. Yeah. So even that, she still somehow,
there must be some sort of like, it must cause some growth in the brain somehow to do that, or maybe it's just to get parents upset or whatnot. But honestly, I will say Sophia really hasn't done as much of that as I would have thought.
No, like growing up, my brother.
I know of other kids who have done that like a lot, and I really haven't seen Sophia like do that too much. It's something she's done every once in a while, but it does seem to be something that all kids go through for some reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
The annoying face.
I'm awfully sorry. Awfully sorry. I bought a calendar in Tamworth yesterday. That's better. That's better. You're doing it again. You're doing it again. Stop it. Stop it. Look, I may be unusual, but I find it very irritating for someone to keep repeating everything I say all the time. It's not what I regard as the art of conversation. I'm awfully sorry, but I've got this nervous compulsion, you see. The first 3 things that anybody says, I repeat. Then the next one, I don't. Then the next 3, I repeat.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't, and so on. Oh, my God, how awful. Oh, my God, how awful. Well, the best thing for me to do is to get through my next 2 remarks as quickly as possible. Knickers. Well, the best thing for me to do is get through my next remarks as quickly as possible. Knickers. More knickers. More knickers. Good. Now, perhaps we can talk some sense. How long has this complaint been going on? Ah, good. Now, perhaps we can talk some sense. How long has this complaint been going on? You've just repeated me a 4th time. Yes, I know. I think it's getting worse. I think you're a fake. I think you're a fake. Right. I'll fix you. To escort an orangutan from Baden-Baden to Wagga Wagga via Addis Ababa and vice versa is enough to make a Gurkha Sherpa commit harikiri. Right. I'll fox you. To escort an orangutan from Baden-Baden to Wagga Wagga via Addis Ababa and vice versa is enough to make a Sherpa Gurkha commit harikiri. Tasmanian Dalmatians hate Romanian Alsatians, and Romanian Alsatians hate Tasmanian Dalmatians. But antiquarian Bulgarians love planetarians and aquariums. And Romanians, Lithuanians, and Tasmanians all love geraniums. Men born under Aries are usually fairies. Betty Botter bought a bit of butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I buy a bit of better butter, it will make my bit of bitter butter better. So she bought a bit of better butter, and it made a bit of bitter butter better.
Wow!
Oh my goodness. How do they remember this stuff?
That's incredible.
Sometimes I only repeat things twice. You're a fraud. I'm not talking to you. You're a fraud. I'm not talking to you. This man is a fake. This man is a fake. Oh, my God. They're all doing it. They're all doing it. Oh, I must get out of here. Oh, let's get out of here.
Wow.
That was amazing.
That was amazing, especially that end. I cannot even begin to say what he just said.
How do they memorize those lines?
Okay, how do they come up with these skits in the first place?
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible, the wordplay that they do in all these skits. Every one we've seen has been just amazing wordplay.
Yeah, they're really witty.
Very witty. And just like the bitter butter better, I don't even know.
And a tongue twister in there.
Yeah, like it really is incredible. Definitely art.
I wonder, do they do this all in one take, or do they have to do multiple?
If they do things like this in one take, that really is. That's so incredible. Impressive. Yeah, very, very impressive. But either way, it's impressive.
Yeah.
I like the Two Ronnies guys. I've enjoyed every skit I've seen from them.
Sometimes we don't get it.
Not fully.
We could.
Yeah, of course. You know, a lot of it was, probably 70s, so
different time period and also different culture.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But usually it's still funny because it's like the sounds and the wordplay itself is funny, the rhymes and all that mess,
and their personalities.
Yeah, and their personalities, and just it's always impressive though. It really is. I've never really quite seen this type of comedy before. This wordplay type of comedy. I really enjoy it though.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's something you just don't see today. At least I haven't seen this today. It seems like a lost art in a way. But
like I said, I feel like it's probably much more popular in British culture.
Yeah, so you guys might actually have people today that still do the same relative type of humor, play on words.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess not always. It's not always going to be humorous. Some people are just going to be wordsmiths without it being humorous. But I especially like the humorous versions. Yeah. But I would love to see more of this, maybe some different types of people. Guys, let us know in the comments what we should check out next in terms of like this wordsmith type stuff, especially if it's humorous, but even if it's not, I just find this fascinating. But also, guys, let us know what other skits or sketches we should check out from the Two Ronnies in the future. Definitely want to check out more from these guys. Yeah. But I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for stopping by, guys. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey to discover anything and everything about the UK and Ireland. Until next time, guys. Peace.